Up, y'all? Okay, every one of my videos are one take, so sorry about how shitty the quality is, but let me break it down for you. Uber and Lyft, which one is better? So I was at the store right now, and while I was checking out, I was talking to a guy in the line about, and how now I work for Uber and Lyft, and the cash register guy says, Lyft is better. Oh, I got a buddy who works for him. And I thought to myself, well, it just depends on who's running better promotion at the time. But check it out. This was which one I think's better. There's a lot that goes into it. Lyft seems to be more popular here in Salt Lake. And when people like a brand, they are loyal to a brand for whatever fucking reason, if it's good reasons, bad reasons sometimes. But Lyft seems to be more popular here in Utah. A lot of people still do use Uber, and at first I made more with Lyft, but this week I made more with Uber. And I think that they're the same. Sometimes Lyft is better, sometimes Uber is better. I really do like that Uber surges a lot more often. So during those times, I definitely drive for Lyft. Um, Lyft passengers seem to tip a little more often. I think it's easier for them in the app. Last time my girlfriend took an Uber, she didn't tip because she said the guy was kind of weird in a way, but the option wasn't just put in her face, and so she didn't go out of her way to tip him because he didn't deserve it. And by the way, it's fucking cold out here, so. But yeah, I'm just trying to get my perspective on Uber and Lyft and which one's better, and I digress a lot. But while I'm standing there thinking in that line, they're pretty much the same company as you hear everybody say. Um, Lyft pays 4 cents less than Uber per mile here in Salt Lake City. They pay same per minute, except for Uber pays 5 cents more while you're waiting, so it's 20 cents a minute. The scheduled ride thing with Lyft is kind of irrelevant. I schedule them, and then if I'm in that area when it's kind of close to that time, I'll pick it up. I might wait a minute if it's a good ride. You know, if it's a good long ride, I know I'm gonna get some money on it, or an airport run. The last time I scheduled 8 of those motherfuckers, and I did them all. This was before I had both platforms on. And I just went and ran back and forth from the airport. I put a lot of miles on my car. And nobody tipped at the moment. Only one person tipped at the moment. But 2 tips came through later on that week, maybe 3. So I thought that was shitty. If I would have had Uber and Lyft, Uber surges kind of often, and you can kind of pick and choose the times that it does. You can remember that, later on in that evening, the airport might start to surge. It also might start to prime time as well, because all the delayed flights will start coming in. So this is the routine and my strategy that I got into. I'd hit the airport and get those surge and prime time rides. Then after that, I'd run downtown and pick up the surge from the bar, and always hear people don't chase the surge, but that's true. But there's also times where it's good to chase the surge in the prime time, because it's going to happen, and you just look at your map day after day, and you know that people are going to do a certain habit at a certain time. And so you want to be there and catch those rides. So you'll catch the bar, and then that'll die down, and then around 3:30, 4 o'clock, you can catch the surge in the prime time going to the airport from the hotel. And then just ride it out for a minute, and then you might catch the early morning surge. It doesn't usually prime time a lot here in Salt Lake, but it does. And when it does, it's worth catching those rides. Um, for the most part, I've been driving Lyft more so than I have Uber, but Uber's quick on its heels, starting to catch up because I can see how important it is to have two platforms and running them both. So, pretty much, that's some tips and my thoughts and feelings on who I think's better, Uber or Lyft. To sum it up as a conclusion, as a summary, I feel like they're both better. As a driver, you need to utilize both and spread your wings. I meet some riders who are loyal to the brand, but and that's sometimes they have to because they're on express drive. And man, hats off to them, because it might be worth to pay $115 a week to get the Hyundai Sonata. It still seats as many as my Elantra Sport 18. I did receive one $10 trip for getting a guide to an impossible place in an impossible amount of time. Drove like a maniac, got a $10 tip. I hope Lyft don't see this shit. But yeah, it's my neighbor coming home. Motherfucker's about to get evicted. 3-day notice. Feel bad for him. Cool guy. But yeah, just use them both to your advantage, because they're taking advantage of you and all your resources. So you just got to make sure, and the people who do accept those higher priced rides are pretty cool, and they can afford it. They're trying to impress a female, or they got the money and they're just in a hurry to get to the airport. You know what I mean? And a lot of those people are happy to tip as well. They understand that you're doing them a service. So if you can provide them a clean car and a smooth ride, drive good, give people fair warning of what you're going to do, put your signals on early, drive a few miles under the speed limit, and get your money. Stay tuned for my updates. I'm going to give you some Park City shit. That shit's off the chain. That's what I heard. I've never drove it, but I heard it's $300 to $500 a day. When my passenger told me that, he drove Uber and Lyft for a year and a half. He gave me some rundown tips on that. Well, yeah, guys, check it out. Look at my cute ass cat. Say hi, Puma. Say hi, Puma. Puma. Aww. Yeah.